So Ben Shapiro had a very interesting take on retirement in on the latest edition of his, well, not even the latest edition. This came out like a few days ago. Um and I'm just gonna let him do the talking. But he's been facing a lot of backlash from this, not just from leftists, not just from people on the left, from his own side too.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement.
And here's the thing. This is probably the only point that I would say he is correct. I don't think we should have people running for president past the retirement age. But what he said before then and what he's going to say after this is totally asinine, where he's just like, no, we should actually raise it.
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem.
Yes, you should be working until you're a skeleton. Work.
Everybody that I know who is elderly, who has retired, is dead within 5 years. And if you talk to people who are elderly and they lose their purpose in life by losing their job and they stop working, things go to hell in a handbasket real quick. But
just like, also just disgusting to be like, the only value you have in life is, you working for someone else, which is like, it's almost like him just saying the quiet part out loud when it comes to his, and a lot of people on the right's like view, and I'm not saying like, the average Joe, the blue, collar working conservative. I'm mostly talking about like conservative pundits when I say this. Or just like this work till you die mentality, because they don't actually care about you. They just care about profits. They just care about money.
Put all of that aside, just on a fiscal level and on a logical level. When Franklin Delano Roosevelt established 65 as the retirement age, the average life expectancy in the United States was 63 years old. Today, the average life expectancy in the United States is close to 80. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk. That is not fiscally sustainable.
And he also said, I believe it might have been after this, he says like, oh, yeah. He also said that like Social Security is just basically a Ponzi scheme, which is not. It's just, again, him and a lot of right-wing ghouls who are like him, just, again, trying to continue another talking point that they've been saying for years, which is just gutting Social Security. And not just that, but they just don't like social, like, safety nets. Like these government systems that are meant to help people. Like, they don't like food stamps at all. They don't like shit like that, despite the fact that there are a lot of conservatives who do, benefit from those kind of services, because, again, they don't actually care about people, whether it's people on their own side or people on the opposite side. They just don't really care about the working class. Again, like, it's just so fucking ghoulish how he talks about this. Like, again, he's just basically being like, no one should be helping you with money, even if you're, born in a lower economic class, even if you're born in a very poor neighborhood, a very poor environment. No one should be helping you, and you should be working until you're dead. You should be dropping dead on the floor like those Amazon workers who drop dead on the floor. That's what he wants to do. That's what he wants. He wants every fucking, like, factory to be ran like, one of those Amazon distribution sites, like one of those, like an Amazon factory.
The notion that if you have to raise the retirement age to 67 or 68, that everyone is going to fall apart. My parents are that age. My parents are not retired, and they shouldn't retire. It would be very bad for them to retire. By the way, it's disrespectful to people who are 67, 68, 69 years old to suggest that they are in the same shape as people who are 65 were in 1940. It's not true at all. Have you met a 65-year-old lately? 65-year-olds are not old in the United States. They're not. 68-year-olds are not old in the United States. Again, Joe Biden thinks he's not old, and that dude is running for president again, and that dude actually is old, and he's 81. I fail to see how a country in which our entire leadership class is 80 plus is telling you.
Here's the thing about Ben Shapiro's dad and his mom. His mother was a TV company executive, and his father worked as a composer. Now that just comes from Wikipedia. So, but like again, like, would you say that's on the same level as like a factory worker, a blue collar worker? No, that's not the same. So being like, oh, my parents are old and they're not retired. Yeah, because they don't need to be. Because they're not doing back-breaking labor. Shit that's like exhausting to do 8 hours straight. They're not doing that. Like he's coming from this from a very privileged lifestyle. First of all he has to do is just sit here like a couple hours a day, just scream hateful rhetoric shit into a microphone, and then he has a bunch of other people who do the hard work for him, edit the videos, share on social media, put up the stage, put up all the audio equipment, put up all the video equipment. All he has to do is just sit and talk, which he's very good at, not talking about, truthful things, just talking about bullshit, which he's really good at. But yeah, of course he can do this for years and years and years. But it's just so funny how he feels like he can talk, like he's always and the thing is that he's always come. The thing about him is that he's always come from a like privileged lifestyle. He's never had to do a hard day's work in his life. He's always been very privileged. Like I spoke with like earlier, like I do a full-time job. I would love to do this as a full-time job. It's why I continue to do it, because I hope to do it so much to one point like I'm able to grow and do it as a full-time job. But until then, I'm doing like a 9 to 5. And if you were to tell me like, hey, you have to do this till you're 80, that would be the worst news ever. If I were to tell my elderly coworkers that, they would probably just quit on the spot. Like, it's just insane. Well, they probably couldn't, because then they wouldn't be able to afford like the next 30 years of their lives. But it's just like insane to continue to ask like these people who have already been working for most of their lives anyways. Like when you reach like, okay, say you started working a full-time job when you're like 22. You First of all, I'm pretty sure the retirement age isn't it 67, at least with like getting benefits from Social Security. You can't even get that till 67. I think you got the age wrong. You can receive Social Security retirement benefits as early as 62, so he doesn't even have it right. Yeah, say you started working at 22 and you work till you're 62. That's 40 years of your life. That's like what? Almost 2/3? A little less than 2/3 of your life that you have just been working. That's just working for 8 hours straight a day, 5 days a week. Maybe sometimes even more if you decide to, do some overtime because maybe money's a little tight and you want some more of it. You're spending so much of your life just working. So why not just spend at least like 20 more years just, you know, being you, doing you, using your money that you saved up, spending time with your children or grandchildren if you decide to have them. And if not, who cares? You just spend your life. Go out, travel. What's the harm in doing that? Yeah, I don't want guess what? I don't want someone who's like 60, 70, or 80 working a full-time job, because they're obviously going to run into health problems. They're obviously going to run into complications that are not going to be able for them to do their job fully. Like, it's just completely asinine what he's saying. Like, oh, saying like a 60-year-old now is compared to a 60-year-old in the 1940s. Yeah, that is pretty asinine, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to have health complications that are going to make their job harder. Like, it's so stupid what he's trying to come across. Like, no wonder he got completely shit on for this. He got shit on justifiably so. I mean, he always gets shit on justifiably so. But, like, this is just so stupid. But yeah, like, Ben Shapiro just has another stupid take. Just put it up there in the scoreboard. Just Ben Shapiro, stupid take, like 1,222, whatever. Just another dumb fucking take. Like, God.